Another very busy week to the upside. You have a gap up here for the S&P 500. Here's NASDAQ. Actually, at this point, poised to open a bit lower, but you do have SPY strength. You also have strength quite significantly here. The Dow Jones ETF. Nice look to the upside for this one, and now to the downside, as these other names trade higher, is oil. USO significantly lower. We know that Trump has claimed that the U.S. could hold off on some strikes in Iran so they can hopefully make some deal talks. Talk about some economic data to watch today as well. We are going to get some employment data later in the week, starting with job openings tomorrow at 10. But today you've got U.S. manufacturing PMI, ISM manufacturing PMI at 10 a.m. Now, there's a couple numbers to be pretty significant, though, after the bell. Shout out to Sean on this one. Palantir, PL, they're reporting earnings after the bell today around 4:05. So Alex Carpenco hopefully can pull out 8 and impress investors. Currently, probably open a little bit higher. We do have some pre-market earnings before the bell, including the likes of Tide. You have big moves on catalyst for names like Alibaba, AstraZeneca. Lots to talk about this morning. For that, we'll go to Sharif. Good morning, Sharif. How was your weekend?
It was great. Thank you for asking, Dara. Yes, as you mentioned, there's a lot to talk about today. USO already here, 6 quarters in the negative, as President Trump said it'd be sanctions. He also said the Strait was going to be open today, and that they agree no nuclear weapons. So we'll see how long that one lasts. We're also looking at a big mega merger. Seneca, Bristol Myers Squibb, kind of tale of two stories. AZN down 4 1/3 as they're going to be the acquiring. Y up 4 2/3 as they're going to be acquired, as Adira mentioned, 3.8 max. That's what they're calling this one. Another look at China. Well discussed, I guess, X for some new feature. You also have money. All the chips are quite weak this morning. Micron's down 5%. We also have SpaceX. Palantir after the bell today. SpaceX tomorrow, of course. Will be keep cybersecurity names continue to be strong here. Pandub up nicely here, about 3% in the pre-market, as it looks like maybe yet another frontier LLM and started going rogue and hacking random things. And GameStop announcing a $1.4 billion exchangeable. He wants to buy eBay, so he keeps diluting. I don't know how I feel about this.
And it's funny too, because eBay actually also gapped, completely unrelated to GameStop. They had a downgrade. So definitely be discussing GameStop later in the show, because I'm sure we all have thoughts here on strategy. But in the meantime, I want to mention what happened last night as well, because as Sharif mentioned, you have a lot of weak in these memory-related plays, and you're seeing a lot. We're trading here in terms of highest notional volume last night in Blue Ocean. You've got in SanDisk number 1 and 2 when it comes to volume on Blue Ocean. Then you've got Direction Daily ETF, SOXL, and third other memory name here in 4th place, SK Hynix, and you've got that ETF in 5th. That's going to be memory-related names if we go forward here to 7th and 8th. ETF and a South Korea ETF. And so you've got a lot of memory being traded quite heavily last night in Blue Ocean. Let's see what according to Sean, who's back with us after taking Friday off. And good morning to both of you. How are your weekends?
Yes. Good morning. Yeah, good weekend. Good start for Apple too. That's it.
Apple. What's Apple doing?
So obviously Apple had earnings on Friday, had earnings on Thursday, and was down huge on Friday, but a serious bit in the afternoon. Like, it was off the race
right at
Friday.
Huge.
Bounced right off 300. Now reach 12. It's in the green. Apples, they got disappointed at first, but then they buy it up after. Seems like it'll be like the Alphabet earnings, where you head down early, but then the buyers decide to come. Got Z small capper is moving around again, so that should be those that like. That thing is the chips are bad this morning, because the market's up, oil's down. You want to be happy about that, but almost all of the chip names are being pretty weak, and all-time lows for SpaceX. Again, stop me if you've heard before. So SpaceX shares being sold at a discount, just like any J that anybody wants to take.
So the thing is this a discount for
Well,
SpaceX?
yeah. No, it isn't. I'm just making.
I don't know. And was that a cost? Yeah. Anyways, welcome every show. It's holiday here in Canada today. I don't think I have my stream deck open. So, but yeah, welcome everybody. Time in Canada, so you won't see Randy or anybody around today. I think it's just a civic holiday.
Yeah.
It's nothing.
We're joking that it has no name on Friday.
Yeah, civic holiday. But yeah, I was saying it's too bad that I didn't really do the markets on Friday, because I would have been buying that Apple, just like we did on Google, right? We had an opportunity, Google at 320 there, and it's been 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, now 7 straight up days. I could see the same thing happening for Apple, there. So this can wind up happening again. And as I was saying, man, that must have been pretty good money-making opportunity down there at 3. Not only does it cut, like, the best of this trade is it came in, and I'm sure you and Joe had this. No. I mean, at 940. I'm right there. This is why you're definitely, hopefully here. But yeah,
that was a short thing.
Yeah. Key level 300 there. That would have been something to look at. Now, I mean, obviously, whether they get it or not, but it bounces there, and then it bounces again 300 here, 12:30, and then again at 2 o'clock. But great bounce.
So I don't think Joe traded it. The only one was that individual.
Oh, perfect. Nice.
So because this first bounce, the one at 99,
everything's happening.
It caught a crazy program buy.
Yeah.
It was wild. Second, the crazy thing about the move up.
It's nice they gave different opportunities.
An Apple is like all of the earnings names that were gapped down.
Yeah.
Roblox was getting.
You had Amazon too.
Destroyed. Roblox was getting destroyed.
Yeah, no, it's down 10.
And then Reddit was going crazy as well. Like you had both of those names that were looking so. And it looked like Apple having the same fate in the first couple of minutes, and then all of a sudden buyers just said, no.
It's easier to look at it afterwards. I mean, when everything's leading down. Yeah, this Reddit chart is actually a name I want to get involved in. So that's a good little level down 40 right now. Still holding 120. I mean, I still think Reddit, all I'm using LLMs, and all they're doing is scraping time, for all the stuff I'm asking it for. Wait to see, Reddit. I think that needs to be bought up. And then today, the number one trade idea on my list today is going to be Alibaba. I was sort of been talking about this very long time, and it's appreciated now, man. I mean, that $90 up to 30. We talked about this is going to mean, because they can make these models way cheaper than anything that we're putting out over here. And most people just will use a commercial-based large language model. Obviously, Claude and Anthropic and all that are going to look to with some of the corporate side of things. But everything simple-minded people are using, Quen can easily top out there and get us to, what restaurant should I go to in Toronto tonight? Very basic question. So we'll wind up seeing Bob, and today they open it up for coding as well. But he's, I don't know the why negativity in the chip space. Another 3% there for Intel there today. My day, but that's now 780. And that's another, I guess they had a bad day on Friday. So it's down another 5% here today. It's not looking great, man. And you mentioned SpaceX, which always is back to Tesla. Yeah. That's now at 311. So we'll see if that can get sort of seen that as well. Oh, there on see that. So isn't that funny? Both Apple and Tesla be the exact same as a big tank early for no reason though on Tesla.
NVIDIA double tendered. This was like an afternoon. Those names were going down to 300.
Right.
NVIDIA right at the open exactly, and then it tapped it in the afternoon. It was a good short. Then it crazy bid. Like there were crazy bids in the afternoon of the month. So
yeah.
So like it just trading perfectly down 200 like an easy short, and then all of a sudden it was before the inbound.
No, I know, but maybe
but
was it a buy and bounce?
Yeah, there was some buy and bounce.
Yeah, so some people probably
so that Apple.
So here we go, Westermeyer. I guess you guys are Lewis is his team. Congrats on the Jays win. You guys both. I don't know, you and Joe, were you guys talking about this on Friday? Both get dinner on him. Is he coming?
So we had a double or nothing bet because of the Bills Chiefs, and so that double or nothing because the Cards were coming here. Whoever wins, because he's coming here, is like, well, if he he'd take us all there. That's a double check.
Well, anyways, 42 months.
He's coming.
He'll let us know, but there it is. So, what is it? 14. I think it's probably been longer than that, but you for everything. And yeah, because I feel like we've had these 8 balls, which was provided by.
It's been long.
I think so.
I think so.
But anyway, shout out to all of our members this weekend. And yeah, my voice is getting a little off, but when we hear something, and so this was, we won.
The gear.
Gia played amazing. She had one game. She had a home run the next game. And here's the rest, just raising up the trophy. Again, so defending champs in Canada. But it was supposed to rain like crazy. And
I guess it didn't give me rain.
And it didn't.
Oh, wow.
So, and it didn't even on our way home game.
Boring here.
There's my little hitting net there. First game. And, same shorts on that are on Sunday right there. So this is had to wash that over the weekend. But so that was a lot of fun. So we did, team dinner on Saturday night, and all the girls loved it. I had to tell them they had to get out of the pool, though, on Friday. We were in there a little early. We had it early Saturday. So, yeah, it was fun and came back. Yeah, it's a long weekend.
Yeah, exactly.
So, we're here working.
For some people,
we're here working. Yeah, she got player of the game, one game, and then we won. We won in the finals, so defending champs there. So it was really nice. It was really nice too because funny, we traveled all the way to Ottawa, and then just played a Royal York team. So that's a team that we played before. So we beat a bunch of teams in the Ontario in near. And then I didn't go anywhere. We just went at us. So it was nice. Okay. But I've seen Parliament many times. So
there's not as much in Ottawa. I think it's not bad.
Well, they have the river there. Is really nice. Yeah, I think it's okay. I don't know. It's not as nice as Boston, of course, Joe.
Joe's hating on Boston.
Oh well, if you've been to the nation's capital, you probably wouldn't want to go back.
Well,
and then shout out.
Nothing special.
No, it's actually. It's not. It's nice, but it's nothing. Once you're there, you're like, I don't know. I've never been to Washington D.C., so I don't know. Washington was riddled with.
Also was.
It's small. I don't even know. Maybe there's a couple of people. I don't even know if there's. But we're right beside. Like our hotel is right beside where the Senators playing. So that was really nice. Well, yeah. They lost. Their Brady Kachuk went to Florida, to Miami, and I said to Gia, I was like, look, if you could live right here in Canada and look around, live in Miami, Florida, and play hockey. So I was like, so what choice do you think the American Brady Kachuk chose? And he could go play with her as well. You're like, cool. We have a lot of friends in Canada. They're wrong, but it's just a small town, and it's hockey players. It's like, and in the anyways, whatever.
Yeah, it gets real there.
It's all thank you to everybody that's with us here today. So yeah, the voice will be a little crackly there, but the trades will be popping, so don't worry about that.
Mike Peter Ryder's already in.
Mike Peter Ryder, I never heard of that.
Pointing out something true. So Japan is problem. Well, they're everybody's problem.
Well, it's every country's problem. They want to get involved in something.
You can't.
What happened with
can't have themselves, so they stepped in out with some currency intervention. Mostly, so the way you have to look at it, it's easier for them to sell euros by yen, have Japan sell treasuries and push yield higher. That's basically what it comes down to. So it's like, yeah, well, you need to do this. Well, you do need to do it because the alternative down the line ends up being a little bit worse. They don't want, you can already see, like we're talking about, we already got rates high, like the 30-year is literally breaking out like it's some meme stock right now. It is what it is. And it's not the first time that this sort of thing is happening. I don't think it'll be the end of the story either, but yeah. So USD yen is going to be a topic of discussion. Whether it's that this week, Palantir, actually after the bell, SpaceX, back to do meetings anymore, or wants to do less. It's not meetings. They want to do less. So there's lot this week to cover. And obviously, we'll have the trading act and some small cappers that are running around because I know Sharif has to have trades on kids because he's contractually obligated.
I don't mind adding HIFM to my contraction list here, seeing that it's up 500% here to start the morning. What a looker. This bad boy here was south of $1 when with the breakout. That was already this morning. We just got into $4. So it's really ripidation between 3 and 4. With a majority of the prints a little bit below that 2/3. FM for anybody who's following along. Second leading gap rate AI, but that just lost the volume. It is also put eyes. Perhaps the best trade is behind this one. UPC broke out on Friday as well, 4 o'clock, but it did gap up and continue to go up at 4 a.m. But giving back some now and below view up here, Dara.
Yeah, I remember YYAI, our watch list, couldn't find any news on it. Really small float and market cap. We're talking for 1 million for both. So aware of the float and market cap size there. Look here, though, at vastly larger names. Look at these memory names here. So we talked about some of the earnings that are going to be this week. Stand to see both memory names also reporting this week. And this whole took quite the tumble last week. Looks like they might continue that weakness today, in addition to a lot of trading lower.
Adara, we lost over $1 trillion in market cap from the recent stuff in the semis as a group. So to, there was blood in the street. Look, investors are growing, increasingly worried, of course, data CI CapEx as we continue report after earnings report guide up in money they're going to spend rather than, being a little bit. You're also getting pressure rise from chips, CXMT, as well as last week. We also got competitor to ASML from China, right, for deep ultraviolet lithography. Now, ASML is not on its own when it does this. Carl Zeiss, very important with the mirrors. That's a supply chain bottleneck. So we need to view this context. Yes, it does in the short to intermediate term, but the longer trend, I think, stays intact there.
Wait and see what happens here for these memory name chip plays you guys looking at today.
I think similar to Friday, DRAM and Intel. Intel after their earnings, which was a good quote. When you look at what's been going on with, let's just start with Micron, because everyone, I guess here it's kind of a center. I mean, the U.S. All of them same profile. It was an absolute dump fest on Friday. Smith false break, and then much of that ramp job Thursday that they had because you went basically like $130 on Michael. Crazy about the move on Thursday, trending up in the pre-market. I think of a time where something had been that way and then was seeing breakout. So everything told you, if you like the dip buys on Thursday, all just breakaways over and over, and then complete off where you just had to have one DRAM and a DRAM short, but it didn't really matter. The thing you had was you could literally short anything at 9:30 on Friday, and you were probably winning. A few names have been strong, but in the context, it's now gapped down through again. Challenging to give up that entire third move, and as long as we hold underneath for Micron, for DRAM, it's this lower level, exactly where it pulled in on Friday. If we don't regain that, you're threatening losing a bit of that gap. And the crazy thing, you're doing it with what had been strong earnings. You got Intel stock did a false break. Thought had happened was you get the report, good report, but they're selling it off because big US CapEx thing with Intel. And then Thursday's big recovery. It's like, right, cooling off period after earnings. It's going to resume right back into the downtrend. So when you look at a lot of these names, they've been downtrend highs back in like mid-June, like early July, June, and it just had a real sustained 1 or 2 days, but then lower, and Intel, sort of the same thing. Is what it is, looking short again.
All right. Yeah, we're going to have a couple names. I got Intel on my, well, we got some Apple looking at. We're going to go back over to Joe and figure out what's on action.
Good morning, everyone. Happy fantastic weekend, but let's get right into things here, guys. We're going to be looking at options activity typically do around the 8:20. Now, guys, Palantir reporting after the name that we want to focus on, and it has been a couple of months, down 45% off of the all-time. But I do believe we can see a little down here in PLTR after the bell, sitting around 9,130 in volume, 8,000 open and close Friday's session, that is, guys. But we're going to be looking at $130 strike price expire this Friday. Now, as you ask, is a relatively liquid underlying asset. Now, don't forget, they're going to be heavily fluctuating earnings report, and you want to take into consideration what I believe one of the most important metrics leading into the, and that is going to be your implied volatility. To that momentarily, but first things first, let's take our delta, our rate of change here, and our gamma. 38 cents here side of things, and then our gamma look around 2 cents. Drastic, but that can most definitely pick up in the near future. But just mentioning at the money IV, we're going to want to keep our eyes on money IV as well too. So you can increase within premium leading into earnings for this largest supply zone on here at this $130 price, guys. Still slightly OTM, but keep an eye out just in case we do exceed it move. All right, moving forward, take a look at the market here, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to be taking this $600 strike price, guys. Open interest, quite substantial. As I was running through the expiration, once again, expiring this Friday, this is the most amount of size that on the NASDAQ through multiple expiration cycles and through strike prices. All right, so we're going to be expiring on Friday, and then you can in the spread of the bid and the ask, guys. Law that we're using, I mean, we can look at a $5 spread, but this a little bit more than that. All right, so 33,000 contracts still at this $690, and then as for open and close, sitting at 14,000 at 90 level. Delta metric, guys, 47 cents, relatively strict at the money. This specific contract. Now, as for your exposure, relatively light, but something to focus on, and I often talk about this, is we see an increase in the NASDAQ and the major averages themselves. Could typically indicate that we are seeing some more downside and some more volatility within the underlying assets themselves. I mean, the holdings within that. So the way that I look at it is we had an example with Palantir earnings report, so that's a shame. But if you see an IV on the NASDAQ on the spot your contracts, then you look at the bigger picture of things, you potentially determine bullish or bearish. All right, guys. Now, as for this contract, a little choppy on Friday's session, even though right out of the gate you do happen to get an 83% return, $4.19 all the way up and 69 cents where we closed that. The middle of the session, it goes from $4 all the way north of dollars. There's a little bit of a last that $1,200 marker. Keep an eye on the NASDAQ, guys. See if we can find a rally here this morning. Pound to the bell, it's 130 supply zone. Let's see on chart.
Thank you. Yeah, Palantir, it's a win because it's up too good. But you look at it as a score relative to some of the other moves that have happened recently. Like, these space has been so beaten up. But you look at like a service, which is, well, that's it, which is significantly off the lows in a little bit of a trend. Like its most recent bounce is over 20. Get a little bit of a battle back, but guess up 2 points today, looking pretty good. It hasn't really broken it. Maybe they need the earnings to go ahead and do that. It's a weird one. It had the weakness, the software names, but is catching the bid. A relief rally makes you want silly over leverage on a Palantir. It was just blind, and a lot of the soft back to the upside. It needs to finally regain that 50 period breakout from there. It's been able to get over it. Once it makes a top over the, it's that it can't break it. Like that is the high, and it can't break it. Top of that top. At least it gives it an obvious setup to pull.
You know, the guy really, you know, Alex Carp came to earnings report and you know, called it a report, but the market's still off. I really like their AIP around them, the government tailwind. These guys have over $2 billion in cash and zero debt. Like, it's just, they're going to win. The problem is the multiple $80 or 80 PE 80. So, you know, that's the problem with Palantir right now, is that it still is, you know, highly valued, and it's not. They're going to put up a report. It just does space right now garner that kind of EE when you're getting sort of a wash and you're having to get an NVIDIA that's under a 20, and you know, Google. That's why we Google right down there at 320 as the values and different PE. You know, their potential here with Palantir, the commercial accelerating for tonight. You know, we never make contracts. Can they get initial side? They have been. They've been growing that at 3x. But, you know, for so far. So we'll see if Palantir can working its way back in and around this $200 level. It's not like you pulled that far away. You know, you look at nail down 50% or more. Well, closing is 140 down to 8. Nails down huge. Names like Corning, like AMD as well. But as Neil said, like, seems like they're not getting hit as badly as some of those names right now. So we'll see. More still to come. Many of them have had decent reports and gotten hit on it. So I'm not even sure what we can say to get it going. Again, we know they have a lot of government adoption. We're looking for more numbers longer than we can even imagine, and somehow work their way into that valuation. But tons of cash, building their book up, big moat around every easy to get those government contracts, and the A have as well. So yeah, their protocol seems to be, talked about this even on CNBC when he went off. It was just like, you know, a lot of language models are just taking all the information that and all the exhaust going into their own books. Like, they're getting every needs a question. They know exactly who they're getting, what all that information. All of a sudden, your privacy is no longer exists if you need of these large language models. Here keeps all the information and, you know, just spits it out to your and the U.S. government and just building, right? And so these guys are charging money for all these, and yet just like that whole model that we all don't like, you know, oh, I don't want Facebook, or I don't want to use Facebook, all my information. Well, it's happening every time you're using a large language model. You're logging in now for it, and you're asking it, oh, this hard, automatically it knows you have it, or someone in your family, or whatever. All the exhaust is being provided by these large models is just out for free. So I do think that there is some love for those that are in it, but you know, has to like the report tonight. So we'll see what winds up happening. I mean, you can Apple down 10% there. You know, on the we saw Google as well. These are world-class companies that are getting hit and then just getting. So that could easily happen to Palantir, and it gets hit. I think it will know what they're going to report, but you know, I think it's been probably more likely than not because of the space to the downside. It's too bad. Like, I'm reported the same focus more on SpaceX than on what Palantir, but we'll see what happens tonight. It's still in my portfolio, but it has been something that we sold off. And I mean, just talking like I sold off some. We talked about it, some Intel, some AMD. We did throw some Marvell. What I thought was better companies, and that was an opportunity to get into some cash. You know, a name like you buy like a name like an Apple, and I was if I step into some, you know, a similar 10% or so tomorrow. I think that after the 2 or 3 day rule there, been on day, so that was a little bit of a different. We didn't necessarily long to buy some Google, but I heard Michael was not here traveling or
We
busy.
missed him.
But we're not missing.
We got him.
On a holiday, this man. We were about this man. Like on Saturday, I was up at 5. We played early. We had games at 8 a.m. So we had 8 a.m. game and on Sunday. So we're ballpark at 7.
Exactly.
You're up in your hotel. You're up at 6 and blah, blah, blah. Same thing here today. So I'm sure it doesn't really matter what day it is. If it's a holiday or not, you're awake. So thanks, Michael, for coming through. Let's go find out desk with Michael Knott.
Yeah, Michael Knott's away for, I believe he's at a conference last. Back the first day of the month, so we know what we're going to get here. But we'll start your morning, and happy Monday. Michael Knott, CMT over at Stats Edge.
Happy Monday and happy holiday. I know we call it something different depending on your product. It's a holiday for all us Canadians.
Very true, and happy holiday to you as well. Now, it's also a holiday for you, Michael. We have a whole bunch you want. Let's get right into it, starting with the wider market.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, I kind of do this rant every time, but I know people watching this show are short-term traders, but I think it's definitely while once a month. Take a big step back, breath, and you unplug from all this and you go to the watch list of whatever it is that you trade and you crank that chart monthly and you go through when you have monthly candles. It's the only time in which it's a new one that's closed and you don't have to see any other. Again, it's a forest for the trees. You just take as deep actually happening out there. A lot of us, we've got our nose to the screen watching even, you know, intraday candles, and you get a little bit kind of wrapped up. And so again, nice zoom out of what's happening in the market once a month. So with the end, you know, based off of, you know, the sentiment out there and everyone, you know, things crashing, you know, is this the top and all of that? You come out and you look at what happened, the answer is nothing. You know, that last candle, the open is rose, and you got a little up wick, so it's a doji on how you classify it, but those represent indecision. And then also contains candle. So no gain from the bulls, no gain from the bears, nothing always feels like something happened last month when you're in shorter term time frames. That's just a nice inside month. And next chart I wanted to look at was showing the So the RSP 500 have the same names in them. The RSP 500 is cap weighted. Essentially, that the biggest companies, S&P 500, same companies in it, but those big moves like and Micron and Apple, so this is a good representation. What is the average stock doing? And all small month and not huge either way. It was an closing high. It did close green. This is now average stock has made new all-time. Where, you know, if you're looking at what focusing on, which is kind of and high growth players, you might not known that we miss here in the average stock. Chart is IWM, just are the smallest companies out there, your organizations. Quickly, may revert dab in the middle of last month. No gain there at all on that one. Next year, although the Qs were down, we were right to last close or last month's low, and we're all due the month before that's low. But zooming out, you can see the last 3 months, quarter or so, just really has anywhere. I know it feels that way when you're trading, especially that have kind of gotten killed. But even the Qs, which is 100 companies out there, Costco for some reason, just months down, pretty gold after a huge epic run for years. But you look at the OG that happened there at the end of the month, maybe time to this, and I said, well, shot here on gold, you have 2 monthly lows around 360 on, and if this is just going to be a pull in an overall, I don't know, I'm starting to get interested here on, we'll zoom into that on a future segment. Same thing here with Bitcoin. If you go into the next one, when it's in over the last, say, 6 months or so, doesn't really were 6 months or so ago. I ignore on this one because I just didn't time. I think I was like a couple hours off. But the green candle, it kind of looks like gold, down a couple months in a row. Small candle, just showing kind of vision or some around that zone. It's 63,065. So starting to get maybe on this pullback on Bitcoin if we can get up into the 3,000. Now the next chart, this is what everyone guessed because a lot of people have been trading this, and of course, huge push on this chart on is that yes, that feels bad, but if you look at everything that's happened over sectors, if this was up to a monthly chart of the day, I don't think anyone would be surprised to see that after that huge run higher. So I just look at this and say, yeah, that's, of course, if you're going to rip up that point, you're going to have some of these nasty pullbacks. Just a couple more here, next fire Hathaway. And this is interesting. It's kind of the opposite of that last chart of semis. And if this was a minute chart or a daily swing trader, I would look at that and say, wow, that's a really nice, tight bull for Hathaway. So this is going to be, I don't know what Buffett, that kind of stuff, drinks a lot of that nice, tight. You can see I have that retire line because still went out all-time high yet. But looking, this surprised me to see us back up there in a couple. Next chart is just going to why I brought this to you guys last time. This LV. Nice out all-time highs on XLV. Bit of a turn on the monthly candle breakout nonetheless. This last chart is just this, and they were talking about this before. But these are the moments I saw this kind of month going around. It looks funny because it's just right. The candle is straight down, which I don't think it makes sense to spend too much time charts when you don't have that amount of data. And I heard where people are like, oh, well, look at the monthly candle on this. For so give it some time before you use that far, but it does, it does look a little bit bad if you're looking at it just on, but I guess we'll see what earnings for SpaceX for us.
Yeah, and we'll find out very soon tomorrow night. So I bring half worth of candle data here. I do have a couple kind of things that I found interesting your brain on, if possible. So I noticed her Hathaway strength and also relatively strong, and then we go back a couple charts here. So I guess, clearly with the RS got, as you mentioned, hack leadership names. Well, with Berkshire Hathaway, would you say that, again, is to look at in terms of healthcare and insurance? And additionally, would you recommend that potentially traders could find similar areas, again, the fact that the RSP is strong?
Yeah, I think your healthcare insurance, that kind of sense. I figured out you guys chart. If you look at KI for the audience there, that is the ET chart looks absolutely amazing, breaking out to new highs here. So I think you do a daily chart where when you see that we tech outperforming, have start with the 11 SPY sector, and then you can Google those, and there's ETFs for all those, and then there's all sectors and industries, and you add those as well. But if you go, something like XLF, which is to new all-time highs, and then I showed the health cap broke out to new all-time. If you're someone who believes in kind of relatives from that, trends continue to, just by going down the list different sectors and saying, well, what's, banks and brokers and insurance and what's, currently, right?
Yeah, this is actually, I pulled up that KIE. I really like this look, Michael, because it's identical in terms of Berkshire Hathaway, but for this new all-time high breakout last month. Good look there for, thank you for bringing that one to our attention. One that I have as well, just clarification, I guess, for the audience here as well. Lines, I'm guessing these are just support resistance areas to be aware of?
Yeah, it's one of those with trading view. If you delete them, I like to leave them in there, just this area of support and resistance. But yes, for example, I just highlight these zones. One of my in technical analysis, Lise Yamada, she is one of the of technical. He always said, draw your support and resistance lines with a crayon, and the idea is that zones that you need to look at as opposing for. So if you look at gold, when we came up to that 300, 250 to 300 area, we 6 months consolidate that next breakout. So on down, if we do continue, I want that because that area and zone in which there was some support, and by having it in there, if I drop down to a daily chart or something, we'll just change the color chart so I know, okay, we're inside a zone, that higher time frame.
Thank you very much for going over all Michael Noss, CMT on a Canadian holiday, and you'll see Michael as you often do every Monday at 8:30, a matter of a few days. Have a great rest of your holiday, Michael, joining us this morning.
Thanks. Talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon.
Fantastic stuff by Mr. Michael Noss. Make sure you join us 8:30 Monday and Friday. See what we got going on from Benjamin. Take a look at some of the analyst actions here this morning. We're off with some downgrades. Got of our list today. Reddit, we're positive 1.4%. The downgrade and a lowering target, a neutral weight rating here, $145 down from an $185. Roth hitting that near-term headwinds, including useration, licensing deal, despite falling 1% on the earnings last week, and an impressive beat and raise. There's a moving forward with why we are lowering our price. Now moving forward, name here, Circle Group, going from an equal weight with a 38 price target. That's a substantial. That is down from $106. More downgrading CCL. So a couple of things, you guys. Organized money market funds and deposits, USD, weaker economics. Firm states it will cut by 33% in 2027, 4% in 2028. So not the best outlook for CL. You're negative 4% here this morning. Moving, guys, Tesla using FSD, all auto up. But we're going to get a lowering price target here, guys. We're holding slightly positive this morning. 191 down from 508. So stating, believing that progress on FSD and robotaxis, a demand evidence is by its largest backlog since 23. Guys, send one more over here. Hit upgrade here, Davidson Starbucks. Apologies. D.A. Davidson giving the dollars. That is up from 102. The Q3 results beat expectations, top and bottom line. Stating also, however, that it remains pending greater long margin visibility. So you're going to get the rating here, guys, but an increase target to 110 up from 102. Let's send it back.
They do also keep seeing it right now that the right setups, this is what we're working with. But here's the truth. You guys have skills, you're a trade fund 100K for stocks, 20 options today. 80% paid every single Friday. Never risk your $99 refunded on your payout. No evaluation, no background. You and the side. Scan that QR code right there on your screen. Funder.com, stocks or options. Enjoy trade. Scan that QR code. It's been a problem, you never want that set up and then power behind it to use the right. So, but yeah, you mentioned there Starbucks. We saw also, I didn't get a chance really to see JE weeks there and how they were going to do their day two. It looks like let's go. Bucks comes out at, now you're seeing that range again. The range was 21 to 25. So I think this is an interesting look here today. On their IPO day, of course, we made a decent trade there on the Thursday. I wasn't here to look at it there, but we did fail off of that 20th range. So some Starbucks, obviously they catch that upgrade. I was just showing screen there, really to Jersey Mike's. Let's wait to $23 today. It's also where you have your 2 moving average. So this was really the tap for the longest time. On Thursday, we all thought it was going to end up coming to 21, all the way up basically to 23 rate. Much as it falls back, was back to that level before dumping in the afternoon. We'll have to wait to see a valuation there of Mike's. But yeah, Starbucks nicely holding. They're looking to break out this 109 area, but you got to get through there first.
It was a disappointing one, and it really did feel like that breakout. But you know what? Sometimes it just gets into one of those supports that you draw with a crayon, then it can break out from chair. Thank you for the super chat here. Thank you for leaving your igloos. It's summer. Yeah. And coming to work holiday, I hope. Brought new ice skates, thick, nice, and a mountain of Canadian Fruit Loops. Well, all things, that's for sure. I don't know about a mountain loop, but they do taste here. I'm just saying. Street's already hating. Sometimes you just gotta enjoy a good breakfast cereal, Sharif. Loops
a lot of sugar in it, bro.
They're so good. I'm just saying that. But thank you for the super chat there on the chair. We appreciate it. Holiday here.
It's only 30 degrees here Celsius. Like 85.
It's ridiculously humid.
The igloo, very, very nice.
Yeah. Better than you
here in Lovedo, Ontario, Canada. Yeah, no, it's been a good year. It's 6:48 or some time zones here in Toronto. 8:48 right now. 45 minutes until we market. We can have a quick look. I mean, I was looking at balances. There's really nothing. You're only going to get Amex New York names, right? Much going on, man. It's still land. AT and term bonds going BMY. We had a little AstraZeneca, maybe we probably will talk about that. Chewy, AL. So yeah, AMC $3. Okay, Joe saw Spiny, so I'm sure that was pretty good. Didn't you, Joe? You saw Spider-Man, no? Yeah, he watched it and enjoyed it. So
he didn't see it all.
I'm not sure I've seen any of the Spider-Man. First one, I don't know. Upside down and kissing. What's her name there?
That's like the old.
Yeah, Toby Flenderson or something. There, that guy
was a legendary.
He is still not back.
Legend.
Wait,
the new kid from the Marvel movies, married to Zendaya. Yeah, married to Zendaya. You know what? AMC, then not like big numbers for them. The huge numbers didn't release all of the IMAXs for.
You can't. We bought
Odyssey.
We already for that, and we had to go where I think it's August or something. We have 40 of those theaters, I think, in North America.
Yeah,
and within of where I live, so we wait over 3 with 5 tickets to go see Odyssey 70 minutes. so we're excited for that one.
There's another small moving as well. It's Ezra, are a Reliance group, so they entered into a non-wide to sell assets of its Altruis beneficiary for $11 million in cash. Pretty good volume, 15 far for. Let's see the details on this bad boy. We got 780,000 float. So that's probably less than 1 million shares. That one's flying around. It's above VWAP. It did look at the top. It's like just put in a bit of a lower high on EZ. And as look at that daily chart, that kind of tells you all you need to know. Dump it.
Yeah, not great.
No, not. You know what you're getting with some of these small cappers, but there's pretty solid.
I liked it, Neil. As soon as you mentioned it, looking already fab here to start to have a quick look. Technicals are showing. I'm not liking till candles through 3, Neil. There's a lot of ground around that $3 area with almost local. Look at this one turn here, losing 3. You know what is holding up though? HFM in the same range since I do like these ones, at least in the pre-market, still trading below 4 there.
Yeah, let's see here. B answer is not very well. Bristol Myers and AstraZeneca both together in connection with one another. Times reports that the company talks about a cash and stock merger. Invest liking this though. Here, AZN.
See, that's what threw me, the cap part of it. Now finances. So this is going to be about 400, give or take. Each company is actually capable of individual. So according to analysts, and this wasn't confirmed by any of the companies, AstraZeneca's entities, BMY's is about 32. So this is more of like equals rather than one company. And it's also going to be heavily stock-based because of cash to go around. And if there is cash, it's going to be the minority. It's going to be highly dilutive by definition. Antitrust, where you got to get through because they have a lot of overlap of medicine that they see in the EC here. Are the 2 main regulars, especially in the oncology where AZ has Imfizny. He competes with just a blockbuster new drug, Opti requiring severe those regulators. So we'll have to, if you're trading this, that's another thing. But there's also some, synergies, especially because they're labs. So if they do get the nod from the regulator, there's a lot of economies of scale, hence why, this likely the operation will not least. Remember when AstraZeneca filed a direct U.S. Well, there was a realist viewing this possible as finally kind of divestiture from having base in England, United States, of course, they do get tax advantage.
That's an interesting look here on the antitrust side, as Sharif mentioned. Currently, if these two combine, they make her in the world by market value. For these regulators to take a close look, are you guys taking trade today?
It's a rumor, not a firm deal. It could happen. It probably takes a while to close. Multi-jury approval here. I think the one that's obviously Bristol Myers is likely to get the premium, and then even if it's cash or stock. So for these, would make some sense. Like get a rumor, it pops up, and it gap back. Take out water resistance all the time. Like it had double top and double top the same level on both. Something to work with here, but to me, you're buying with the chance of a deal being the gravy there, but it's not a lot of volume, not a firm deal. So I think you put it on the back burner. But already in well, which does give it some appeal to look for the middle of the gap. It's obviously, it's a huge if it does. A bit confusing because you usually see a company with a very fine need to make a position like AstraZeneca, but still would run into the benefits here. Just another couple dollars before looking for the.
I asked is basically what you guys were looking to trade here today. Bunter Hayden, I love this name, says nothing. I'll take a picture of each. Sure you do that. Sebastian talking about oil and on today. I think those are good looks. Responded to all of these as well. So you guys here in the chat and you guys setting up for you right there. Go have a look. Says Alibaba on my sticky note here today as well. Ali Reddit in US, Palantir and SpaceX from Adele. Brian, same but futures. Palantir and Sox. There's Sanjeev. I said we're in SpaceX reporting this week, not that Sox. And then Jose with Alibaba as well there. So there's a lot of today for some of these names, and here I have SpaceX. So two longs right there, Apple and Baba and Intel and here today. So yeah, a couple good things in this market going to happen, and there's AMC pulling off a $3. Still up 5%. Was level? I mean, that's a pretty good one there, AMC. So don't break above this 310 sell spot there, as we just talked about. Spider-Man and session. Small cap names that are better than Ezra. Yeah, these music reference. That for us old guys. Yeah, well, Neil's much. Good luck today to us. Some of those small cap names.
Yeah.
We looked at many there today. You mentioned Kid.
And Ezra, the two, and then there's a really a whatever YYAI. I'm not going to try to pronounce the name of the watch list. Anyone that wants to be able to pronounce last one,
just come to the one. You can get it here. Yeah. Yeah, it's actually pretty easy there. So you know this is our watch list here, and there's putting this together. Economic events, all the pre-market trading, everything that's all the earnings. I think it's not tonight's not that big. Other here, Snapchat really goes all the way down. I mean, sorry about everybody that I shouldn't say that. Snapchat and the old account there. I remember buying some at like $7. What is now? Q Corning, and then I guess he is one T1 Ender there. It's only up 7% dollar name, so that's a good one. And then is on that list. So if you are all for some, should there's wait a minute. YYA. It's called Conexa Sports Tech. Y. So I don't know what's going on there. Maybe a name, but there it is right here. It's only 9 cents, and we had as percent when Adara was writing. Of course, now it has 2 103%. I mean, who the hell would be happy with that day? But yeah, no, just all joking aside, this stock fallen quite right there. And, oh, let me guess, reverse split, mooned on that. It went 24 cents up to where would it start? So I don't know, 100 to 1 that, and then boom, downside again, where it's going to try, yes, to again at some point now. So remember, there's that new rule, 5 schmil, and
Yeah, I'm guessing
YYAI. Well,
maybe it is, though I'm going to...
Right now, we can see right in the market.
No.
Dollars. This is rate in for YY, which is all the same way. Airwa, it's old in ours, but there it is right there. Their market cap. I could just buy this right now, but then this is like, of course, 127 million. What is there? Wrong.
Oh, it's a glitch in the...
Yeah, what is all this up here? When did that?
It's just this morning.
Oh, okay.
I think it has to do with the new...
Just all of a sudden does that without new versions? They put new... Okay. Working completely fine. Just interesting new things. Now for the first time. There's one for you, right? With YYAI underneath the dollar, no fly zone for moi, but you know,
it's already losing it.
Yeah, at least it's here. This will be a spot. And again, a lot of data points obviously hitting. But these ones are so. The news was, we didn't even get over the news. Here's the news. That gapping up on apparently. So, okay. So then it coming up. It probably gapped up where they're thinking about a reverse split again. Like 12 up there. So, yeah, there's a small cap name. It's right now. Maybe some stocks that we possibly will be trading. We have a believe it starts right about now.
That's right.
47, not the airplane. Closed on Friday on this above 7. Looking like we might be heading 155 area of that we actually back in it looks like the July, so that'll be our one. We'll use 5 at sell off. First support level we're looking at 750 area, and if we were really, it's Friday's closing print 740.80 at era support.
Let's talk here about our lots of stuff to talk about today, this weekend, probably continue. So to figure out what to look, check out, you can either type that URL on your screen, but okay, this is just click the link. We'll have earnings for you, economic data. Watch. Let's take a look here at USO. This thing massively and currently at lows. Oil, of course, back in focus. President Trump going to be those discussions happening today. He called off strikes. There does seem to be some discrepancy with Iran and other parts. Not these talks with the U.S. are actually occurring.
There's time. One party says one thing, the other party says exactly what happened. Quote, imminent, broad-based on trade for Ministry, of course, for their part, denying bilateral talks with the U.S., saying, no, we're discussing bilateral negotiation. They're discussing how the transit would operate. They want entities to be in charge. Of course, the White House has a different look at that. This change of heart pipe was sort of the Gulf states States, led by Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, who's about his structure being the target of a regulatory strike. Specifically worried about is the West, the pipeline from the Gulf to the Red Sea, and that's where they're passing about 1 million barrels per day, right? Circumvent the Strait of could be obviously the target list. So this is kind of a situation, Adara. We all say the United Kingdom trade operations reported additional. So what this tells me is that these proxies, autonomous militias who are just to the in the higher level trade, so this presents a problem that I on, which is sort of the parcel negotiations not adhering.
There's a much smaller wealth for some of these, what DVN and COP both reporting later this week, I believe on Tuesday night. And it's also going to be earnings day too for plays like CVM. So not a lot of movement on any of these, but just as another significant play that is on watch here this week.
Yeah, the thing with the last week, it's really just been about the gaps. Unless you are around holding overnight, you see like Thursday, Friday, absolute like nothing burgers. Like they were all inside type. Any attempt at a breakout was a false and reversed. The break on Thursday was false, and then that was interest lines in the middle of the day to possibly reverse. Until that stops being the case, get back to some maybe trend in oil, it's more of a reactionary. It's, volume playing the other direction because that's been the one. The gap down from small cappers out of play that were running that strong last week anyway. You got to stay. Thing is going to change. When you look at the overall good news here, lower high, and now you always put in air quotes because whether we get something or not, we're all hoping for it. There's a chance that this could break back down. Like you're at the key level from the abs. And if you lose that 118 this week, I think you get some serious headline driven. And based on I wouldn't be anticipating that break. Different environment, you'd be thinking you could really flush if we break back. But every single was met by sideways. I see something different from that. I think scalping inside.
Yeah, so I was just looking at some of these other names like in XR. USO has been interesting. I think Neil's right. Like you want to see coming in the market, and then we hear the tweets, relatively early. You hear Donald Trump money off of his own tweets, which is kind of cool. Is now $100 a month you can pay him to get to the True Studies post. Amazing. So you're so $100,000 in his as the president of the United States. So Palantir, PLTR, because you're privileged money, the month you're going to be able to true moments earlier, and I don't know how many earlier it is, before. So like oil and a lot of these names really bump around. I mean, I think by the president to do that. I mean, that's part of the game. And if you can go ahead and do it, it just means it's going to change the game here. And that's not going to make that. But XOM, again, off the 200 period move. Is that same move this way? I've already said it. I thought it was too far the other way. It's now, I think, this one period moving average. So I actually don't. If you look up some puts or something like that, a 145. I know we're only at 150. You know, back down into here, month I think is very possible. So let's see if that starts to drip. But I talked about that. I saw that over the weekend. It's just absolutely, that's great right now. Mark Carney over here. I don't even know if I use this. That would be something interesting. Lumber price here.
Well, paying for direct access, like economic thing, like that's already part of it. The issue situation in which and efficient is happening on this outside platform that makes it here. But
what makes it unique is tweeting out about stocks, which now early access.
It's more about the oil stuff than the stocks. It's more about the straight-edge moves and oil prices, and the fact is shocking. Now, this is oil. This is about oil futures, and this is like S&P 5, not individual stock, because 90 moves overall market and oil futures. Because
trade though was down.
An economic indicator. So the same thing, if you know anything, this has been this practice around economic data. So it used to be to trade off, say, the jobs number 20, and now basically API acts as individual, and there's never any interaction or reacting to it. So it completely those numbers. The fact that you can even still have alpha on the boil on Thursday can, because I guess that one isn't machine. That's fun. The fun thing about it is a lot of times that algo will get things wrong, meaning then it gives you that reversion. Reason why you get some of these wild reversions is they'll buying, making the spread, and then all of a sudden when it sells back down, we determine, hey, that's you might be able to get some out. It plays in both. It does play in both ways.
Literally, the definition of insider trading. So I should be able to and see if that actually goes. I mean, I think it's just an idea to really go. The fact that you can tweet out, tickers, everybody buy it. That information already, the rich are making off closing millions of dollars even faster. So, congratulations, sitting there.
It's only firms that are going to do it. That's it.
Yeah. There's a couple of people I'm following on just it's just a matter of how much money you have, right? I mean, or you can make 100 easily. So it's just how the world we're living.
But the thing, bigger firms will be much faster than you. So a lot of people then won't even have better firms that are paying for it. So it's a suck people that'll pay for it because have the speed to beat some of the big boys.
Yeah, never will. All the sitting here, right? But this is not something to and you got to make sure that you make decisions and don't risk too much capital based on news. You can go back and forth the game. So, all right, let's go back. It's 9:20.
Yeah, let's talk here. Very different type of story here. BAP is here after unveiling their 3.8 Max model, which apparently
parameters 1 million window, because it's interesting. So it's using a technology of experts, MOE, does for these huge LT trillion pool, allows you to run not 9 or just a fraction live at any one. The benefit of that is it reduces compute costs. So is the model, but they a commitment, and we've been talking a lot more about open weighting is open source. You to download the entire and run it locally on your computer. So you out. The benefit of that is you shot that the LLMs, the front are becoming you're looking at how you do business. They're looking at between the different. They're making that basically a product, and they're competing directly with you. These bigger businesses, they want to run the supply chain means of production, and they want to keep it local. And that's what OpenWeight Bob is committed to, but it's not available yet. It's also being heavily, so if you get 8 Max, you're going to pay about 98% off peak. Move here is a loss leader, but it is an immediate to move trillion parameter model that they released last week or the week before. Pardon me. Now you're seeing kind of these Chinese compete with each other, with the Americans.
Interesting look there for the thoughts here on Alibaba. I mentioned a little bit of an uptick I've been seeing over the last couple minutes. Reports were expected here. Iran rejecting the latest. How do you guys feel about here?
Yeah. Okay. That's right. Twice. Well, maybe it's not twice good.
No.
Go look at. That actually is looking much better. I shouldn't make it here on Alibaba. The problem down at one working full time off the lows, and this is breakout off the that you wanted to see for Alibaba. It would have gone down. That would have been much cooler, but to me, found its way 50 period, and now you're breaking above the 50, which is from some of the other covering the 50, and they'll just sort of fail. Breakout 122 to be held. In terms of the gap, I know the gap, when it's gapped up, be violent on the way back. Requires a lot of patience trying to buy the dip, but it's 122 that I like.
Okay, so I was a little bit aggressive at 23 to 124. So, oopsies, right there on. I said proving it can compete with version cheap. So I think Alibaba's along, everybody that's checking there, but wait more there for you. Probably a bot, but there it is. now it's 125 is your 200. Just we've already broken out percent rate now 2250. I don't think we dipped down in kind of what we're talking about. 3 to 1. Get down into there right now flat. So yeah, again, I like it a hell of a lot more down. If you go back on the monthly, you could see that was reasons about this as a bouncing spot as you sort of screen myself. But here, so there was some, some good support area downside. There's the bounce back up. Now you look to say back to 150. So I really think there's in this name. So we want to get on Alibaba. That's what it's all about. And like something cheaper that will right now it's all the, I really complete opposite way of about to see and talk about here going like Alibaba. I mean, it's been a much in Alibaba than or anything like and that has not been the case. So there's just a little bit of a in what kind of trade wants to be in, because the rich Chinese, they tend to buy real estate involved in but you can see starting to get a little bit of love back into it. And he's speaking Trump later on this month. I mean, I think it's only kind of relations, but we'll not be the case. And any weakness, I think we want to buy me today trade idea at 123 long or one of those levels. Let's see if it's going here. The trade of the day for me, and then down as a 1 for the next trade. So let's go what they're talking about.
There's a lot to look at here. Obviously, the biggest being their first earnings call. Tomorrow after the bell, you also have cut period expiring kicking after that report as well. And it's worth noting here for space, they're already to start putting in Elon Musk is going to show up on the call. Will.
Yeah, I think he should. It's the first. It's down so much. He definitely needs to be there to answer questions. It feels like an AI company because every time we talk, really is AI related. Model. $2.5 billion losses, 7.7 billion. The 2026 merge of XAI and they're losing a lot, about 800 revenue, but they also have 2.5 billion losses. Of course, the unit is 75% of the total company, 1.7 billion. Continues to be the only part of it feels like maybe of weakness coming in here because revenue for Starlink are focusing on emerging markets on enterprise or tier bands, so the customers are not paying us, even though they did grow subscribers 6% year over year. They have about 10 subs. Does continue to drop. And then, as Adair mentioned, 1 billion share expiration coming. So 912 shares are going to become available for trading on 319 million week. That kind of creates a massive float injection. But we can't also forget the Anthropic because they're getting $1 billion in cold hard cash on out the Dojo Super. That's a good income generator in it's also basically a not the compute, so they are in the Frontier model.
What's the look here?
0.2 billion cash, as Sharif puts it, sounds really for the fact more. Like none of much we're looking at seems bullish, right? The numbers seem particularly bullish. Any discussion, it does not in the short run. You make an argument. You that it could act Tesla if it were to eventually happen, but I mean, not so much. And then, what do you see? You see a stock with it was Yeoman's effort last week above 119. It was multiple rare lows, like it was that, and then you had. It's just the term is not as here, and I think like every single when it's trending like this, it's a massive level. Off, it had resistance as the Thursday low. That's the spot, and then a double 108. Right? It's just like two prior lows, and it threw down, breaks out those prior lows, then 10 stocks that very few are even engaged, and that they are, the next stage is getting so you until proven otherwise. And even I don't know that how much sure what can be said make step in this week. Again, I'm not really.
Yeah, I don't really. I mean, I think the earnings. Not expecting actually any earnings or anything like that. If there's any sort of a timeline of when they're expecting. We're looking at the Starlink; those should be talked about. So we'll look at that. Starlink blows it out of the water for people. And if they do, will just possibly be unexpected numbers out of them, and then try to figure out like how and to start at launches as a profit and what they're trying to do. If they can somehow say, hey, 2035, 2032 story, we start to think, okay, it's so trapped in this sort of spiral of spending till rather than 5 to 10 more years. I think there's going to be a wave of selling. I really think that some early founders have registered shareholders at like that 1.6 billion or higher value out of this name before it even went. The people that are already out of this stock, smaller pieces, and they're out now, just like they knew that there was going to be this stock, so now it is down. So think about all the rules to get this stock down. They basically went on. It's just like, this is what's won absolutely retail wealth. So, good morning. Thank you to absolutely everybody. We have this consolidated on tick 15 cents worth of the numbers are all you can actually, that doesn't matter. We want to just say hi and I are always looking around here. It's actually on the big. So what's it? The cryptonomic there? What was it right there? Lemon, Kevin Mendoza, Clark, Cameron. Oh, B. Cameron. You're the B on my Twitter feed. So I've heard of this guy before. Mike, what's up? I guess we have some liberals in here. So broke trade. Hopefully broke trades is not broke trade. But yeah, what's up over there and everybody? That's probably a big shout out and everybody there located in the lovely country is a holiday. So 21 or 2 minutes to get to work was a brief. I want to thank the streets of for being empty.
Quickly, some imbalances did Bit sell. Amazon on a sell of 380, that's to 330 buy and balance there. MU into the sell side. I guess AMC is a buy and balance there. Amazon would be the two ones that runners at the end of the. Just here's the word of advice: when you moves in the last imbalances in my price, sometimes understand the range in the previous. Like a good example of that would be was crazy. Stop has gapped down. Stop is down and AMC.
GameStop actually bouncing. It looks quite significantly off the lows, but down to the downside here, trying to cut their debt through deal as they can to acquire eBay.
It's quite interesting because they're not going to actually be a conversion. So because the $400 million which are due in 2030 and the dollars that are due carry as rate, both of those. So that's going to $1 billion in zero cash savings statement. So equity for debt, balance sheet restructure, financial accounting, dilution count isn't kind of fixed yet. The years, guys, get this, by the volume weighted average 35 consecutive trading days are on this, and it's going to be subject to a per. I know this what this is has just saw this here. Micro strategy. Bitcoin again, 1,038 Bitcoin for about a little bit less than $1 million a day. A sell there from MSTR.
What do you guys get me as we head into the open?
My first thought was, okay, well, it's back into the prior low because it's already made the bounce. You're starting to think about a bit of a bid for relief rally. But a couple of 21-1 to look for the fade. It's a fair on the daily chart. Probably not going to trade it. It would have to. Like, you could get up to, so it's another dollar it is right now. But more than anything, going to be crypto got mentioned for sure today. Bitcoin with a lot of things can't hold that 64,000, like 35.8. Thursday's bottom eyes on IBIT.
Yeah, look, as we get into the open, so we'll just I have Intel was the next one that I have as well. So I don't, Big 7 is Sharif and Randy messed with the temp is freezing. Right now, yeah, they covered the key for 309 For a dip by opportunity in Apple down. So we'll wait to see if 306 to play. Just want to see, not 200 period, maybe 5-minute chart. Like this is on a 2-minute chart for 3 Apple down there. I like the short on SpaceX, and then I like Intel. So we'll have to wait to see if Intel can get. I wrote down today's note there. So I'm going to turn on the news server ready to rock for this opening bell, and this opening bell in fact for all of their sponsorship of go check them out, VFS, and or once again, man, I took the full self-drive all out of Ottawa 4 or 5 hours. Worried about it. It's the best. I took so long. SD. All right. So there goes absolutely getting open pretty badly. Again, they're down 3% there. SpaceX getting hit. Amazon dollars cap we just heard in our ear as shooting the moon. Brand new all-time highs. It looks AMZ and without any further ado, it's our first there.
Now news quickly wanted to get into here tonight. PLTR actually dropping here. We're getting earnings at 4:05 p.m. Eastern, more or less. Analysts are company revenue 1.8, EPS 35-cent estimate, 5% next quarter brings. Send you back over to here, but it's more reports that this American offer to reopen the Strait of Hormuz.
Interesting move was down, not up. So oil lower here, peak, but not by a heck of a lot. So par for the course. A little bit of a bid as I look up. Intel still lower relative to the strength that's catching a bid for the.
Well, here my guys come but too early. We always say that we want to. Amazon new all-time high. Amazon there, the first time ever 3 trillion all-time highs. Apple like 306, but like I don't want the first 2 minutes. There it is, down to 306. Therefore, as a price that we appreciate. Try just a little. Okay, now it's going to go. Give this only if it does, which is going to have 5. We want to. Oops, what happened out of that price? Okay, 305 is what we want to get out of. So 304 is where we want to stop. In and out there with the wrong price, but we're back on it. Let's see what winds up happening. And it's your first dollar club. Apple, we kind of like a false start one, and now we'll wait to see what happens here. Before off now, the market is strong. A quarter of it now all the way. So we'll hold on to some Apple and see what winds up. It's probably the Alibaba.
I just can't. You just got into the SpaceX and Amazon did right off the bat. We had fantastic quarters. I know we were tough and Google to get their flower. Yeah, SpaceX. We just grabbed under the high, then we bring on iBid as well off the pre-market high. Nah, get that out of here. Low, that's not going to get down there at all. Like, look, 4 4% to the upside, looking rock, but that's not helping some of the chip names. Intel's bleeding pretty bad. I wanted that one short. DRAM's is hitting the lows and continuing low. The chips are taking a little bit. Seems like it's rotating and sell off the chips as usual. Of course, now.
It's $3, man. All right, so this is the mentioned reason. Their 6 long at 308.50. You know, like it just this opportunities in this market, man. Whether Intel, you know, or some of these, but there goes Apple. We've got Apple already, so we're out here at 308. I mean, how high can we? Still at 309 there as well, but there's and we on the trade, and I don't even put them out in some time before you can execute. Apple just give up open and waiting for 5 minutes. Level that we already bought it and for Apple. You know, it's a big trade. It's 9:35. We're happy, but and we're gonna watch $6. I'm here at 90s. That didn't. I mean, it only got to 80. That, but there it goes now. SpaceX, I like that. There, and that was it. And then that because earnings are tonight here, so it's always risky to trade a stock earnings. So breath here today for Palantir. We'll just wait. Trade is, and I didn't get it. Okay, so back up to 16.5.
05 was last week for sure out there. One realistic might get a reload, but it is now challenging. 106 back, if it breaks 107 out of this film, saying meta looking. I think it's hype and catch. Put on the dog group, a relatively better quarter than buyers, then I'd be excited about. What was that pre-market high on SpaceX? We don't want to fight. Look, that did legit 5 at one really fast to be able to higher lows at 106. When it gets, you don't want to fight this level to wait for on that bad boy to go. I didn't look at not really any kind of Mag 7. I paid more attention to Amazon. Y'all had better. Apple got beat up, but it had a pretty strong quarter. Last one in level. Try to remember, I see here 200 Friday. It was a great noon, and morning, and I started to struggle with that 200 level. So you get there, that can be a nice. Remember what I talked about the after when I had the different story, what that stock did.
Google has been an hour. I mean, there's what a hindsight trade to say more at 320 and it made it the largest. Oh, like we should have just, man, we sat here like I hold way just, you know, just got Google absolutely. You're welcome lunch 911. Didn't even really mention Meta. So that, and I just mentioned Meta, an absolutely shit show of a stock. 80, 30, absolutely punked downside, but hopefully I hold Meta and would love to see even higher, man, for sure. Alibaba basing out was finally starting to get opening range, right? We talked about that, but right now trying to from 128 into 127 as looking. This is where you can 28 and there to 127. So you break through on 120. There's a watch out. I'm just going to sit in this Apple for that. That was the stock. Currently, it's right there. We had it on our watch list. They're up almost 300%. I don't want to say almost flat at 12 cents. You're at 7. Looks like it may be going down there as we battle back. We noticed that it back. So some of these ideas that we like to the direction that we like. I know Neil took a shot early, which is fine. I mean, it's better for something to happen. So we'll wait. Like I wrote down a short for 8, and now it's falling back down. A little bit more patient. And then, its cousin here, have a quick look, is that now of SpaceX, and that's just in this name right here. 17, and I can't about the cars, but anymore, so we'll have to wait to see with but I don't know. I mean, the merging hold the stock based on conditions would be right. Probably get a holder for a whole that because
there's an outside chance. Things based on the I read, which suggested that space more rinse and
more rinse
better off for Tesla. That being said, stock T3 has started to go. Just almost the entirety of the move on Friday. Big time, $100 a week, which is crazy, and it is going. SoFi is at $17. We'll see. I think if I had winning results into that quarter, the things to the south side, an opening tail here. You make an opening tail top at prior high. Same setup from Friday, only this time stronger. DRAM is still looking pretty well back and tagged and put it in a topping tail for sure. I thought it was going to be memory chips are pretty weak as well. Like look immediately view up. Not going to chase a, but now that you got that 8.5 or so. Just heard
the FNS halted right there. So another took advantage of a higher. So let's go better right now. And hey, man, we don't have any. Are enjoying breakfast. Enjoy it. Fresh fruit salad. Went up at 308. Just keep trying to get in and out, but we are still in. Work our way out. If it does for 3077 there, and just not from us there on and 3. cent worth of stop to $10. So that was a 6 to winner there so far. Apple, wait to see what's going on some other. Look at there's DFNS halter there, has been halting trade kind of a game for a while now. I mean, just last week, and it was now it's falling back. On the daily chart, you're not going to see zoom out here on DFN at 52.10. So where it halted for now, going to be the case. D, this is another one, low 2.200. This is another one here that could be HD or holdings. Yeah. The one just recently split 20 to 1. So we already have 20 back in just a little. We're still looking up to see if
what's going on.
Reddit? Yeah, I really like Reddit.
We had a stock that got destroyed on earnings pick up, and Reddit did, which doesn't really maybe not for sure. That one up strong, but the market was flat, and people were like, how can that was good? S&P and the Nasdaq, everybody, and so you're failing here on the Q. The SPY, I should say, SPY, very similar. Longer, I think that's fading underneath that proper. Still already an I bid, and I'm now to re-challenge that 45. We don't have a lot by way.
No.
In about 10 seconds.
We'll get one more print later to the S&P manufacturing 0.8 forecast of future beating the steady momentum. So, high print bilateral hair. 50 is the prior 0.8 for the S&P manufacturing. Another number at 10 a.m. It'll be the final ISM print for the month of July. So you higher than expected ISM number. That's 15 minutes S&P 500. And the more closely watched version of this print. These moving numbers. No big news to get any other big catalysts happening now. Economic data. Back to you.
Thanks, there. Yeah, I'm starting to see the market, but Apple pulling back down. Shot here at 8 to lose on the last bid. So watch out now as our what is 305 through. Sorry, I said before 305.50. Right, 305. We had last taken a bid down here at 305.50. Spoke on that one, but having it here right now as the market got a little bit there. So trade coming in to the down. Oh yeah, that might not be good. Below some levels. NVIDIA now 1% down at 200, kind of flat, like they're doing. AMD kind of in a range, automatic kind of thing there. And I don't think we're actually manufacturing. They're 53.9 versus, so it's not really. Of the fact is, it's well, we could sort of just bump. Tell, nice move like it's a bit. I mean, again, even Bitcoin, hold my beer out. So IBIT can almost, that's a good
it hasn't changed for me, man.
I flat on Apple's trying to side, so we do take a fill there. But we got some at 70 out now back into the 20s. Opportunity to see what happens now with the only stock that I have. Microsoft, that's been up now over 25% since their monster. Microsoft, just straight up loving this name as it is a thing. So now Microsoft as well. And DFNS, did it open back up? Yeah, back up to be another move. And now that's right now doing some stuff.
And S, another one that the Nasdaq is higher. You're still on IBIT, but it's now we just another one sitting down there, but you're getting high resistance spot. So if we take going to name that we got to get SPCE, but now like it just went away the prior close and looks like this is still a fall and an exponential move up. And like this, show you the update. Like it broke wait for a lower high at about 1020. Some patience, that was the bottom. Kind of still was going to be on Thursdays. So a lot of patience over there in SpaceX. And I don't think we're going to fade anymore. Doesn't seem to have the juice to go. This is failing under V. Down, VWAP would be the gain is still going lower, and then really leverage now. Yeah, so GM is now gone. You can get absolute because once the stock they just dump it. We saw this.
Yeah, that was the one that got blown.
It was loose.
PL.
Same thing looks like it's happened to GME. I think GME doubled.
All right. Same stock. Adding it up. Apple. We are now up. It run here. Just focusing. Just focusing on. Apple came right in. He just loaded back. Reloaded. We got reloaded right live within the show. And Apple, a lot of I like it. So hold out maybe for the rest of we get VWAP. I mean VWAP's only I do have some offers up to 80. I see with it here in the 70s. It's not like thing to put on has to be this huge home run. Be there for Apple. There we go. We get and now we can take it about maybe getting the rest out at. And so right now, Apple, that could be going back, but you still want to have the ability to therefore a bigger upside move. So It was, I do still 109. If that's been the top that times there, 109 on space, but that's what I'm looking at over there.
Here, Chevron pretty extensively, so we're going to talk about it. He's between Chevron and Maria Bartiromo. This company is doing so well. Worth, quote, conveniently forgot to mention genius force in the oil industry in our country itself. But not particularly long Chevron from U.S. President Trump. Just keep it worth a mention.
Just like oil's not really moving on. Well, like that's.
Yeah, if it even gets allowed.
Oh no, I don't. I tend to. I
Yeah.
Burger than most people, I guess. What's on?
Yeah, I think so too.
Because it's not economic data. I would within the rules, and it's like overblown. Relatively weak. I don't want relatively weak. That's VWAP, D blast. There's DRAM, Micron as well. NVIDIA's still really wants to break out this 200 on Friday, but look at it, just one good tick. It's just over here. It's just selling, living, you know what, 5. So this break really just doesn't want to go. Just a matter, like you can't.
NVIDIA, no, eventually something go. Movement here in FCU. Another, I've got. I did notice that. I guess I had jumped him and then logged in here. So some of the things are just ready to launch. Kuala Lumpur local go 24/7 for you guys, and we'll talk about as they get into our trader. Now there we go. I mean, Apple one again right now, so we're really happy. Now it's another $2 levels, so we're waiting for a way to fill. Anyways, we did get another right there, 308.90. So I can't is going to the upside now. Oh, Scott, man, you're all about SoFi. She's SoFi down there, $15 as level. Looks like my hat's off to you. A right idea off of their earnings hit pretty good. Rocket science, we sit here, difficult it is, and it definitely longer term investment easier than day trading, and find some key levels, and then play easily right. So give yourself 30 or 40. Now you're up to. Thought. There you go, man. You nailed on that talk there. One of the best. Higher. Yeah. Okay, good. So you're
doing much. So the immediately stalled back. Maybe because this one after reversal could be a while on higher. don't want to just we want the high on Friday 80. That was our older. It was right there, like high imbalances effectively. I just off instead of like 50, and then look at here on Intel. We just volume weighted average up 8. That's still a short. It's underneath that 3% market, and space. I think we're gonna be really.
Where's it at? Okay, perfect.
But this, I ended up looking out in the morning, 20 or so, when you had to win some kind of a top, because this ran buying from Omen. I don't know what it means. Oh, see that when you throw this.
Was red.
Why? I didn't see the CW that it there going high.
You're in that Intel. Oh, yeah.
Those whole three of the shorts
Sometimes are right, especially with this market. For me, that SpaceX there. I mean, we did it 9 short right there, higher there, and like I said, man, for on when everybody's the other way, that one they're like see what's we as well. So many of the reloading, 20% left of what will 20% now, any outs, and I mean, talking about give up everything just wasn't the wood. I thought we'd get, especially with this market moving, been able to there, and there's no bids, and I'm not going to now. Of course, that
was very fast on them.
Market's here, man. I mean, look, yeah, SpaceX back in this market. I was actually checking. Okay, I have some bad trades that are working out, continue to work out. That might. Some of these names, when bids under there. All right, it's happening now. The Neil Nye.
We got you. We got you.
What's happening now? Well, an investment in manufacturing, 1% manufacturing PMI forecast, 53-point target, significant, even higher, 5.6 forecast, 3.5 points. Expected ISM PMI for a little bit here from, but nothing significant yet. And again, high. We have a lot to talk about. We've got bright names and chip names can start of the day. After early stepping down off of today this morning. 800 right now. S&P ratings after the bell. Actually, it's a little bit from a absent that certainly isn't weak. This is the AMs that $1 trillion market cap for the first. Makes a good look for Jeff Bezos. Let's talk about Starlight, of course, reporting earnings after the estimate of 1.8 shift for Palantir bouncing weakness. Let's see if they can continue. Let's see how they react to that. Likely be giving this to you guys here on track. Already have an earnings preview out as well. More
back in we got it back in and not really. I think that was probably going to decision. Sorry, I meant to go to this one that we have. So we're just gonna. Oops, there it is. Even cancel my 25 cents trade, and now we're holding. I didn't cancel it all. So we're Intel 2 here. And again, these are, in and out. Be my number one P&L. I'm really happy with the way that. I will just with 50s now. Just see if VWAP can come into play. But the market's over to Neil and see what he's talking.
There's an offer that your brokers, because markets have been really at these more setups and some like is access to capital. So instead count firm capital and focus your strategy and no more fear blowing you're worried about your own savings. Risk trading. So if you visit trade.com, scan the QR code. Big shout out to Trade, the fourth sponsor of. And those. So
let's go.
One. Like maybe 3 or quite popular program by all green candles, and followed by a SpaceX just gave second entry here. Look for VWAP. I know we had that other. I believe. I thought.
Quick is about but they want to do a little so more out here. It's enough right there for 87 talk right there. That talk stock that's better for 40. I mean, just agree. T-shirt because here it is. Plate. News on RA was.
Oh yeah.
8:30. I'll just take a look at rate gather and taste benefit.
Bill, it's a shoot that played when it was go the name, but my back in 40, you they're back boom today. That's the that is going to trade for that maybe is a little near 65. This stuff. Good look for me today. For two, and now I've there. I actually missed a 109. Glad I'm there. It goes through 109.
Breaks will usually pay all. At the end of the day, is you as well, and it's then strategy. Whenever it breaks the trend, there's the trend line, and then the out goes right there into the volume weighted average price strategy. And I'm going to be involved every. All right, just jumping back. What can I? Oh, it just broke there. So it's always a define on that particular about 2 to 1. So I'm going to take. But if we don't get it, then we'll release. But the plan of action give the because of how heavy the on that. Well, they don't whatsoever. The gap. Oh, 08 looks going back as a wild move here in a market not strong like wins today. Anything so NVIDIA up kind of a weird of a rotate. I didn't see this kind of strength coming.
Hell yeah.
Probably irrelevant. Go this
happy day of games. So she's looking to portfolio a little bit to it. I think to do so. I'm starting to term for such a young, definitely should be. Oh, and again, friends not giving right. It's very careful. Live on this show. Oh, the situation is in your risk state of mind. My tolerance or just numbers, Apple, SpaceX. I feel it's like to let's go raise bid down there. Very hard to day ahead. Is going to be there. Careful with power 20. I'm just really happy with that we're seeing now for Intel down a lot as well. Too earlier today, maybe look over here. I've been nice today's bounce. No reason it is. So I bit was on, and then yeah, not the here and later on it. Inter at 88, and another performance rate base all up a little bit. Yeah, actually,
It's not just
as well. Maybe looks, but the whole. Oh yeah, different than the car. See, but it's like to this one and both in that we have involved leaved in the nose of I down. I just held off dip earnings. So congratulating Mike. I mean, opportunity there. Hey, we could still see right now. I've got 0.6 down to 3-1 there. I've the next one just hold. Look at IFNX 2 areas and
pretty well. Okay, now was you can so those is up here. Just the fact meaningly is if it's own potential again, not a trend up, it back up for. Glad we stepped in on blue right now. Now it's the first thing for the taxation. It's the stock to try to win. You had on that. Just very about what they tell us.
I think timely ad and how
So expensive.
you know I know about just could I mean they're not what numbers look like would be the last right
That seems like a negative but positive fundamental
you mentioned the matter of see what you just got to just what happens with Oracle right in the call it be a space be it again just continue look pretty nice right back in the area. Good hold was level 15 at the 1 for a little bit of or name for keystroke here. Intel another 87 there. Patient has on in send what we profit to be 32 to see if that one winds up happening. I looked at today was Apple and Intel. I could have for base there with a little bit little off not a great of been happens there or kicked out at all. It now has lost or something. So at some that it so be so bad though. I'm just waiting. So here today is one of these levels. Big another haul we could potentially some 15 much where P and
Position of become warning not seen.
A little bit of and that name we wait. This one just we
No, that's
just a, and this one I think again halt again. Why the halt up up like that halt there. So there and in right now just still just sound
more to this and it would fit on abs is a fix
a little
this because I can see those better that not that big again of the day. Another stop break down. That said, got poorly didn't have actually review in any would have been low better price really here, but I instead of on the trend under bar tree looking at Marv now so it was not cat meaning if that's the gap those are support. So that's one of a small cap at PN
hiring
no go
right now. hit like it's no, there's halted. I don't know what. Oh, there's up there. Yeah.
Instant.
No liquidity. $8 in back over there a little about again. That's
Small market cap, 50, back over.
So I bit, but then it popped, finally